Burkina Faso, one of those teams that will be in Morocco later in the year for the Africa Cup of Nations. On the attack once more, here's Key, little dink ball into the boxes, met though by Ahmed Rashid. It's all Burkina Faso at the moment. Ethiopia hanging on for grim death here to a goalless draw at the moment. The header comes from Waza. Finally, anywhere will do, and they get it into touch just to give themselves some respite. They struggle to hang on to the likes of those above them in general. The odd result here and there, but not enough consistency to really put together a convincing challenge. Stephen Aziz Key once more. He is driven away from goal. Referee has given the decision Burkina Faso's way. Steve Yago is the player who's gone to get the ball. There's another Ethiopian player on the deck. That's 3 already in 13 minutes. Seems to be a pattern developing here in the early part of this game. It's the captain, Haida Sharifa. Plays for Ethiopian Insurance, 31 years old now. Captain of both club and country. Won the Ethiopian Premier League in 2025, and he's got to leave the pitch, having been treated on it, with no card given to an opposing player. So Ethiopia then will be down to 10 men if he doesn't manage to come back on again by the time this free kick is taken. Stefan Aziz Key doesn't seem in any particular hurry. Neither does Bertrand Traore, who's standing over the ball. Burkina Faso's captain will deliver. It's a little bit aimless, to be honest. That's a better ball. In again. Traore gets a little bit of a lucky bounce. And it's cleared with Ferru Gutuyun diving to try to take the cross. Inside by Ismaila Ouedraogo. Forward by Mohamedi Ouedraogo. They've been getting a lot of joy down this left-hand side in the first 15 minutes. Not that time, though. Here's Kikita Jima, the one change from the win over Guinea-Bissau, wearing number 21, in for Binyam today up front for Ethiopia. After 15 minutes, though, it's Burkina Faso 0, Ethiopia 0, in a game that Burkina Faso have to win. An early goal would certainly help to settle the nerves. It would also keep the crowd off their backs as well. I wonder what would happen if you were to offer them a 1-0 win now. Would they take it? It would be the 3 points. That's the minimum they require, but you do get the feeling that they need more goals than just one if they are to really have a chance of knocking one of the teams above them out of that race for the 4 top second-place teams in the 9 groups. Gabon have already claimed their place. 16 points in their matches against those in the top 5 of their group. That means that they are 4 points ahead of Burkina Faso, so are safe. They could even win their group, to be honest with you, and that might open up things. Gabon are behind Ivory Coast. If Ivory Coast did finish second, they'd be on 23 points. Knock off 6 points from that if they were to win their last game, and they would still be on 20, which would be easily enough to put them into those playoffs. So really, it's all over bar the shouting in Group F. It's the only group where it is completely finished and finalised. Here's Traore, feeds it back into Ouedraogo. Ismailia Ouedraogo, that is. There are two Ouedraogos in this side. Hamedi is the other one. It's a long ball that's ahead of everybody and is allowed to go out by Ferru Getahun, the Ethiopia keeper. Well, you do get the feeling here that Ethiopia are just trying to waste as much time as they can already. One thing that they will be fearing making this trip is a hammering. They know that that's what Burkina Faso will be keen to get. Not because they want to humiliate Ethiopia, but because they need it for their own personal ambitions. Ouedraogo. Forward by Edmund Tapsoba. By a Leverkusen central defender. That's been given away though, picked up by Gökçe. Good tackle though by Steve Yago. Mohamedi Ouedraogo, excuse me. Back it comes to the captain of Ethiopia, Haida Sharifa. That's gone out on that far side. Back by Tapsoba. Tapsoba, until recently, all that's been given away. Well, Burkina Faso cannot afford to be slack at the back. Ethiopia will be only too happy to take advantage of any gifts that come their way. You do get the feeling that's the only way that the Ethiopians will get anything out of this game. Is that the nerves and the anxiety will get the better of their host. That's being allowed to be played on. It was a foul, but Ethiopia continuing on. Picked up by Yusuf Abdesalem. The left back, though, has not quite got the trick here, or has he? He's managed to get past one player, maybe another. Well, that was a bit better from Ethiopia, that little drive forward, and they're putting together a little bit of possession now. Here's Sharifa again. Out wide by Waza Bereket. Ramkel James, the man who scored the winner against Guinea-Bissau last time out, feeds it forward. 20 minutes gone. Ethiopia on the attack, looking for an unlikely opener. It's a decent ball in, but it was well taken by Hervé Kofi. Back in the side tonight, as we say. Long ball forward from the Angers man. Back inside. Oh, that's good! Oh, it's wide. Stefan Aziz Ki stepping back in out from his wing and letting rip with a really powerful shot that looked as though it was go-bound, but just went the wrong side of the post. Well, it's the first really big chance. You wouldn't call it a clear-cut opportunity, but Stefan Aziz Ki wasn't too far away. Here is a replay of that chance. Back in the side tonight, but unable to convert on his return to the side. Throw in by Steve Yago. Plays for Aris Limassol in Cyprus. And he's in for Ayinde tonight at right back. But he's been switching around actually. Traore has been interchanging here with Aziz Ki on this right wing before returning back into more of a centre forwards position, which is where we thought he would start. Throw up the line by Ethiopia, looking for Chernet Gugsa. Well chaperoned. It's another throw in though. A couple of extra yards eaten up by Yusuf Abdusalem. Good covering though by Burkina Faso. Nobody open there in an Ethiopia shirt. Out by Kofi. Too high though for Mohamed Zugrana in the middle. Here is Zugrana. Good high press from Ethiopia, and it's done the job. They forced the error, and it's another throw into the away side. We're past halfway in the first half. Ethiopia at the moment frustrating Burkina Faso. Already Kofi looking long. Too long. Well, it's appreciated up front by Mohamed Konate, but it wasn't that great a clearance, to be honest with you. Mohamed Konate, who plays for Anak Grozny. He's an old-fashioned centre forward, hold-up play, physicality. Too many of those left in the modern-day game. Aziz Ki. It's coming out to Bertrand Traore. Minutes gone. We're going to stop for a drinks break with the temperature over 30 degrees in Ouagadougou, even at this time of night. Well, matches between these two sides, the last five stretching back to April 2000. And you have to go back that far to find the last time that Ethiopia actually beat Burkina Faso. Not just in a World Cup qualifier, but in any kind of game. They met twice in that campaign. Ethiopia winning 2-1 in the first game, Burkina Faso 3-0 in the other, which is the same score it was when the two sides met again in World Cup qualifying for the current global showpiece. In between that, they met in the Africa Cup of Nations in 2013, which was the first time that Ethiopia qualified and were allowed to qualify for a major title after a long ban from international competition. The other time they met was in January 2022, again at an Africa Cup of Nations that ended in the only draw between these two sides in that time. Burkina Faso's biggest win was a 4-0 win in that 2013 Africa Cup of Nations that was actually won by Zambia in the end. Ethiopia's only win came in when Djibouti have taken the lead against Sierra Leone. But again, Sierra Leone, because of that defeat last time out, can no longer finish any higher than third in the group, starting off this game 6 points behind tonight's host, Burkina Faso. The only real intrigue left in this group is whether or not Burkina Faso can get into those 4 precious places for the playoffs as one of the top 4 second place finishers in the 9 groups. Crowd getting lively again, but it was an under-hit ball looking for Aziz Ki on this near side. Picked up by Waza Bereket. Through to Burkina, this stylish attacking midfielder. That was rather ambitious though, and he goes flying over the bar. And will be a goal kick to Burkina Faso. Immediately taken, Issoufou Deyu, centre-back for Salal, 34 years old now, former RS Berkane captain, who won the Confederation Cup with them back in 2020. Crowd thought that might go towards Burkina Faso, but it didn't. It's gone to Ethiopia as they throw in. Exactly half an hour gone here in Ouagadougou. It is still goalless. Burkina Faso, it's not what they need. Whatever happens tonight, we won't know their fate until the end of the 9 groups. That's a good piece of play out on the left-hand side, but a good piece of covering as well to head it off, and it'll be a throw-in on the far side, which Burkina Faso take quickly. Good tackling back by Burkina. However, Burkina Faso have got it back once more. Maybe the chance for the first goal. Ismaila Ouedraogo, I think, in the middle with the shot. In fact, it was Bertrand Traoré in the middle. Captain looking for his 4th goal of this World Cup qualifying campaign, having set up the winner in the last game against Sierra Leone for Mohamed Zugrana. A couple of chances now for the hosts in this first half, but well, the all-out guns blazing that we thought we were going to see hasn't happened, as the first yellow card is handed out to the Ethiopia centre-back, Ramkel James. The last quarter of an hour then. Carl James at the back, who's just been booked. Burkina Faso on the attack with a decent ball in, and it's James with the header. They haven't got it away though. Another chance here for Burkina Faso. Last-ditch defending from the away side is just about doing the job. However, they've lost it again. In it comes from Yago. And again, the defence manages to hold strong. should be the goalkeepers. Getahun doing enough and picking up ahead of Yago and immediately distributing early. So it'll be a goal kick to Ethiopia. Out by Furu. 10 minutes or so to go until the break, and it's still goalless in a match that Burkina Faso have to win. Ethiopia at the moment, rather a rear guard action here, not really creating an awful lot coming forward, and virtually all of their own half, but they have so far managed to hold off not exactly what I would call an onslaught, but certainly concerted pressure. Burkina Faso here will want to make sure that the Ethiopians have to keep on running, wear them down and then maybe take them apart in the second half, because at the moment they are full of running. Here comes Burkina Faso again though. Traore, well trapped back though by Waza Bereket from midfield. Out wide by Burkina. Nice ball forward by Desta Bereket. However, that ball will roll through for Hervé Kofi. Traore, I think, who's gone down. Captain gets up. Yusuf is the second Ethiopian to be booked. Can. Burkina Faso on the attack, that ball has gone out. What's happened here? Is it going to be an Ethiopia throw? And I think it is. Burkina Faso on the attack, inside the penalty area, inside the last few minutes of the first half. Thank you. There's another yellow card coming out for another Ethiopian. Going to be for the front man, I think, Akita Jima. Well, the Ethiopians are going to have to be careful here because the yellow cards are now beginning to flow like wine. In comes the set piece. Again, it's another Ethiopian head that reaches it. Back in though by Stefan Aziz Ki, and it's off the post. The nearest that Burkina Faso have come to opening the scoring in the first half. And it's the man in for Balati Toure in today's starting 11, who has been at the heart of most of the good action that they have been involved in this first 45 minutes. Early shot that was wide, this one was a lot nearer. Forward by Traore. We're a bit too far in front of Mohamed Kanate. A little bit risky. Ethiopia have got it back here. Picked up by Burkina. Wasn't the best ball though, looking for Kakita Jima. Hervé Kofi. And it's gone out. It's a couple of times he's tried one of those sort of like goal-kicking volleys that have just been too hard. Traore before this game said that they would give everything they had, score plenty of goals, all-out attack. It's not really been quite the way this first half has gone. There's been a calculation in their forays forward. They haven't completely thrown everything at Ethiopia yet. Get the feeling that just to keep the crowd on board, they need a goal before half-time. Again, it's robbed by Ethiopia again. Forward comes Yusuf Abdesalem. However, he runs into trouble. Time is beginning to run out, though, in this first half. Yusuf Abdesalem will take this throw-in. It's a decent one as well. Up by Gugsa. Gugsa trying to take on his man. Picked up again by Ethiopia. On the attack once more. Chernet Gugsa, nice little interchange. Here he comes again. This is as dangerous as Ethiopia have been in the whole of this first half. And they finally get a shot away. Kakita Jima just off balance a little bit, couldn't quite get the contact he was looking for. And now it's Burkina Faso trying to come forward. Bertrand Traore steps back inside. Traore goes for goal. Some of the crowd thought that had gone in, but it was the side netting. 2 minutes until the break. Ethiopia here beginning to get a little bit emboldened as we head towards the half-time whistle. Chernat Gugsa, who has been as dangerous as anybody in a green top, starting to get a little bit more adventurous. This is not good news for Burkina Faso. They need a goal really before half-time. They talked beforehand about how they were going to go all-out attack and get the big win that they think they need to get themselves into the top 4 places. And it's not quite the way that the first half has panned out. It's a long ball forward this time, better quality. Into the path of Bertrand Traoré. The captain skips back inside again, feeds it into Kanate. And again, the Ethiopian defenders track across and cut off all the avenues towards their goal. It's a good defensive performance here from the Walia Ibex in the first half. But they've had to do an awful lot of running here to keep out Burkina Faso. Lovely turn, Traoré again. This looks more like it. Little ball in by Yago. Again, though, wanders across the penalty area. Just need that little bit of quality in the last third, and it's been a little bit of panic, really, when they've got there. Last 30 seconds of the 45 coming up. We'll find out how much the referee wants to add on. There were a few injury breaks in the opening 15 minutes, but nothing more since then. Mainly Ethiopians going down and needing attention. Good little turn. Desta Bereket gets there though and denies Django Ouattara. Here's Kikita Jima. Ethiopia again getting round the back. Well, that was a little bit disappointing because Desta Bereket was on his own in the middle there and wasn't found. 3 minutes of time to be added on at the end of the first half. That's a little bit too far away. Good attempt to keep it in on that far side, but it will go behind for an Ethiopia goal kick. Mesere Teferi, the Ethiopia coach, didn't want to talk about his future. Lots of speculation concerning what will happen to him after qualifying, and all he had to say about it was it will be revealed soon after the qualifiers. For now, we're focusing on finishing strongly. And it's been a strong first half for them, defensively at least. Their tactics have been clear: sit back, absorb the pressure, and try to hit when they can, which has not been often. It's a nice little ball through. Stefan Aziz-Ki picks it up. Lucky rebound, takes it back into the midfielder. Yago. Out wide by Zagrana. Aziz-Ki. Yago again. Traoré is back out on this right wing where he spent a lot of the time in the first 45. Nice ball back in again. Here's Ki trying to dribble his way through. Ki trying to set it up. Gets the shot away. Didn't have an awful lot on it, but it had Furu Getun sprawling across his goal. Back in again, and he makes the catch at his near post. Good pressure, but again, they need more. Stefan Aziz-Ki, though, looks the most likely to break the deadlock. Yago. Traoré. Looking for the return ball, but it was an ambitious one too. Under pressure, though, is Ahmed Rashid, but he does well to get the ball away, although he has given it away. Back it comes. Burkina Faso looking for that little bit of quality again, and another save by Furu Getun, but these are not tough saves that he's being expected to make. They need to find a bit more of an edge, do Burkina Faso. going to be a throw-in to the Bekanabe. Here's Zagrana, match winner in the last game. Decent ball forward. Key has popped up on the left side for the first time in the first half and has won a corner. One last chance in this first half for the host to get the leading goal before half-time. It's like Mohamed Konate is hung out on that far side to take this set piece. They are gathering in the middle. Not quite all or nothing yet, but you certainly get the feeling it's getting more that way. It's not a good set piece. It's picked up by Desta Bereket. And the referee blows for half-time at the end of a frustrating half for Burkina Faso. They had virtually all the possession, most of the territory, most of the shots too. Stefan Aziz Ki had 3 good chances, one of which hit the post. But at half-time here in Ouagadougou, it's Burkina Faso 0, Ethiopia 0. Well, welcome back to the Stade du 4 Août, the 4th of August stadium in Ouagadougou in the capital of Burkina Faso, where the hosts are up against it somewhat at the moment. Not as badly, though, as Madagascar, who are one of the teams that they are fighting to get into those top 4 runner-up positions from the 9 groups. They are being beaten by Mali in their final group, in Group I. So it is going to get very interesting with regards to those top 4 second places, if that continues. Well, when it's all said and done, Burkina Faso's 1-0 win over Sierra Leone might well prove crucial. Well, Brahma Traore's team, always unlikely to surpass Egypt at the top of the table. There was a sense that 4 points from 6 would be enough to finish as one of the 4 best second-place teams across the 9 groups, but really they need the full 6, the maximum, to get there. There are other teams who are knocking on the door as well. Groups A and I finish this evening. And Burkina Faso have yet to get the job done. If they can win this and Madagascar lose, then they would take their place in those 4 semi-final places. Off we go, second half. 45 minutes here for Burkina Faso to define their destiny. A draw just won't cut it. They need a victory. Ethiopia hung on gamely through the first half, didn't really create very much. All the chances coming for the host side, and to be honest, there weren't that many of them. Any that did happen more often than not fell to Stéphane Aziz Ki, who came the closest of anybody to scoring, hitting the post in the 38th minute. He had a couple of other shots as well, bringing in Ferru Gitahun, who was also needed to deny Bertrand Traoré as well just after the half hour. 1-0 was enough to win the last game. 1-0 would, well, at least it would get the 3 points they need. And regarding what's going on with Madagascar, they might even say that that could be enough, but would it be enough to fend off other challengers? They just need, really, Madagascar to stay behind. The problem for Burkina Faso is that Uganda and Niger also come into this final round of qualifiers on 12 points from the relevant games, not including the games against the teams 6th and bottom in the groups, which is why goal difference becomes so vital, and why it becomes so important that they don't just win, but win well. On the attack immediately. Picked up by Mohamed the Ouedraogo. We didn't see him come forward too much in the first half, but the fullback there trying to get forward and create a little bit of extra impetus. Here's Zugrana, the match winner from the last game. Wasn't a good ball. Slaps the ground in frustration. Picked up again, though. Here they come. Tapsoba, the centre-back, venturing forward. Zugrana. One of the great nations in the early part of the history of this confederation, but their great days, really their best days, very much in the past. still really trying to rediscover those glories. Burkina Faso on the attack. Ouedraogo. And again, Ferro Gitterhun gets a punch to it. That's nice. Great play by Ouedraogo. Gets the ball into the middle, the first real chance. Follow up. Terrific save by Gitterhun. Ferro Gitterhun there with his best stop of the game. Keeping it 0-0. And now he's gone down. Well, the best attack in the whole game by far from the hosts. Kanate disappointed. But it was a fantastic piece of shot stopping by the Ethiopia goalkeeper. Well, we had 3 Ethiopian players go down early on in the first half, and that has now continued into the second half. I'm not suggesting at all that Ferro Gitterhun is putting this on, because he had to be quite brave, particularly for the follow-up save. He didn't collect it first time. It was a reaction save. Well, maybe he's had the wind knocked out of him. So the goalkeeper seems okay again, and has recovered from that little bit of a battering. So then underway again, 6 minutes gone in the second half. Burkina Faso resuming where they left off at the end of the first 45 minutes, trying to camp on the edge of the penalty area of Ethiopia. Here they come once more. Little ding ball. There's 3 people over here. One of them was Zukrana, but he couldn't really get any power on the header, and a relatively simple stop for Ferro Gitterhun that time. Well, he was the man who scored the near post header that beat Sierra Leone, that put Burkina Faso in with a chance of qualifying for the playoffs. Desta coming into contact with his opposite number, Django Ouattara. However, Ethiopia have it. Forward into Wergana. He feeds it inside to Desta. They're piling forward now for Ethiopia in this attack. They needed a slightly better ball than that. Wasn't the best piece of play from Yusuf Abdul Salam. And what looked like a very promising attack rather petered out into nothing. Here they go again, though. Here's the captain, Haider Sharifa. Back to Ramkel James. Hopeful ball forward, at best. Forward by Ouattara. Desta has it again out on this near side. Chernet Gugsa trying to get the better of Steve Yago and failing. However, Yago's clearance only goes to an Ethiopia player again, and they start to build once more with Hader Sharifa. Starting to get a little bit more possession now. Yago. It's nicely done. Calm under pressure. Back to the keeper, Ferru Gutahun. Oh, that's not a best ball back though to the goalkeeper, and rather forced to just hoof it as far away as possible. That's brought the crowd back into it as well. Taps over. That's a decent ball outside, and now Django Ouattara has another chance to run the defender. Defender, though, just sticks out a long lever and robs the ball away from him, and now the counter-attack is on. Back it comes again, though. Ouattara again doing well, but then he slips. Now he's out of possession, and now Ethiopia can come forward with a few more numbers. Desta, Bereket. There's a lot of room on that far side. Has been eaten up, though, because of the looping nature of the ball. Of that ball across that just took far too much time to get there. Oof. Wow, Hervé Kofi showing nerves of steel. Was not a very good ball back to him, put him in all kinds of trouble. Ten minutes into the second half, and the first substitutes are coming for Ethiopia. Hussein and Binyam. Binyam was the only change from the starting lineup from the win over Guinea-Bissau, and he's going to come on now for Ethiopia. So Waza comes off, and Bereket Desta comes off. And on come Binyam. Ayten Binyam plays for Adama City. And accompanying him on as well is Ahmed Hussein, the Arba Mensch forward. Arba Mensch right down in the south of Ethiopia. It's unusual for teams in Ethiopia. A lot of them are centred around the capital, Addis Ababa, with the Bahadar right up in the north. And first touch immediately for Ahmed Hussein. Giving it away, though. Back comes Stefan Aziz Ki. Good little ball outside, and a lovely ball into the middle that is missed by everybody and comes across for a throw-in to Ethiopia. Lovely ball that allowed the winger to get round the back of the defence. Hello, what's going on there? Change of shirt. Burkina Faso need to make the most of these moments when the crowd are fully behind them. Django Ouattara. Two men in front of him. Took too long to decide what he's going to do, and he ends up on the deck again for the second time in as many minutes. Here's Topsoba. Ouedraogo tracking back well there and regaining possession for the home side. Zugrana to Mohamedi Ouedraogo, and by Ismaila Ouedraogo. Soba. Patient build-up this from Burkina Faso. And again, patient defending from Ethiopia to counter the threat. Forward by Ismaila Ouedraogo again. Django Ouattara. Wasn't the best touch by Zugrana. That's gone back out to Mohamed Zugrana. Good tackling though from Ethiopia once more. Kennedy Kabeda, the man who managed to break play up. This time it's Issoufou Dayu feeding it forward. Plenty of green shirts back though, covering all the angles. Soba, good ball in! And the shot comes in from Ouattara. And is blocked. Comes again, Ouattara trying to feed it back in. Oh, over the bar! Oh my word! All that pressure resulting in just the chance they were looking for. And of all the times not to keep your eye on the ball, that was not it. And Zugrana spoons it over the bar. Second chance for the attacking midfielder, and a second chance that goes begging for him personally. An hour gone, Burkina Faso 0, Ethiopia 0. This is not what the hosts need. They have to win to give themselves a reasonable chance of progressing further. Here they come again. Traoré. Ouattara. Zugrana. Oh, it's a Soba, the centre-back, with the shot. And it's been given as a goal kick. Well, Edmond Soba. He is something of a goal-scoring centre-back. First substitutions for Burkina Faso are greeted with huge cheers. Georgie Minungu will come on, man who plays in MLS for the Seattle Sounders. And Josue Tiandrabogo, 22-year-old Annecy midfielder, will come on as well. He's been in good form for his club of late with goals, and he did score against Djibouti in the World Cup qualifying 6-0 hammering back in September. Mohamed Zugrana amongst those who's coming off. Ethiopia are going to make another substitution as well. And they're going to bring on Tariku Yetagesu, the Ethiopia Buna midfielder. Buna being coffee in Amharic. And he's going to replace Kikita Jima. So we are well inside the last half an hour now. Mohamedi Ouedraogo gets the ball into the middle, goes down, but the referee gives nothing. Has another long look, still nothing. This is what Burkina Faso will have to be aware of. It was Tariku Yitagesu trying to make an immediate impact on proceedings after coming on as a substitute. But the referee didn't give him anything either. Little ball over the top, hoping to create something, and it might just do so! And finally, the opening goal goes in! And Ouagadougou goes wild! It's taken over an hour for Burkina Faso to finally get the goal they need, on the way to the victory they need. The substitutions making the difference immediately. Little dink ball over there, didn't look like there was much danger here. But Joshua Tiandra-Biogo with his first touch. Puts Burkina Faso in front. Now, they've got the lead. Can they now build on it? Tempo's beginning to boil over now. So then that goal puts Burkina Faso on 21 points. Don't forget, there was no chance of Sierra Leone catching them tonight anyway. They're guaranteed second place in this group. The interest here is what happens in the best four. And at the moment, Burkina Faso going in the right direction. Here is a shot from Mohamedi Ouedraogo. He shaped well, but then shacked it off the outside of his right boot. Did the left back. Still sent the crowd wild anyway. They are now in celebratory mood. Madagascar are now 3-0 down against Mali. It is all falling apart for the Indian Ocean island on the last day of the season in terms of World Cup qualifying. Ethiopia trying to spoil the party for Burkina Faso. But this result would. As our first yellow card for a Burkina Faso player comes out. Looks like it's Steve Yago. Apparently it's Tian Drabuogo. Looked like a number 3 on the shirt, but Tian Drabuogo is wearing number 21. Here comes another chance for Burkina Faso, and another chance. It goes into the side netting and goes wide. The Ethiopian keeper is down, is he? Not quite sure where he's been hit, but it doesn't look very comfortable. So then the cooling break we had on in the first half. We'll have another one in the second half as well. And just gives Burkina Faso time to really take stock with how they're going to approach this last 20 minutes. With Madagascar losing by 3-0, it means that they would take their place in the top 4. Would move them up to 15 points, which at this stage would be right behind Gabon, who are the first of the second place finishes, just above Cameroon, who have still got to play, of course. Cameroon are second to Cape Verde in Group D. They could even win that group if Cape Verde slip up at the last, as they did in their previous game. So then, drinks break underway and finished. We can get back on again. The Ethiopian goalkeeper has recovered and delivers us back into play. 17 minutes to go, but there will be a commensurate amount of time added on at the end of the game for that drinks break. Had Sharifa and Yusuf. It's Yusuf who takes the free kick. Calmly done. Didn't look that calm as he warmed up for what he was going to do with the ball, but in the end did well. Yusuf forward. Ball's gone out, so it will be a throw in to Burkina Faso. Well, there's some space down this left-hand side for Burkina Faso to exploit. It's not the most convincing clearance. Tapsoba again trying the volley from outside the area, which was ambitious to say the least. Caught in midfield, and now Ethiopia try the transition attack. 3 coming forward, but there are 5 defenders. And it's the first defender that stops Gugsa. 15 minutes to go. Burkina Faso in the position they want to be in terms of victory, but they will want to maybe score a couple more goals to make it a bit safer. Not just in terms of winning this game, but helping them to finish inside the top 4 places for the second place teams in the 9 groups. It is just so tight that any goal could well make the difference. But with just over 14 minutes to go, Burkina Faso 1, Ethiopia 0. Here they come once more. You know, most of the defending has been pretty good from Ethiopia, particularly inside their last third. Here's Tiandro Biogo. Forward by Tapsoba. Beautifully dragged down on that far side. Still going. Oh, that's rescued. Tapsoba almost through. Good pressure this by Burkina Faso, winning the ball back quickly. Out it comes to Mamemedi Ouedraogo. Ouedraogo has just overrun. Has he the ball back in again? He kept it in. No, he didn't. It has gone, has it, for a goal kick. Dragged down on this near side by Kennedy Kabeda. Suddenly the pace is turned on. Burkina Faso looking for the assurance goal. This could be it, and it's off the line. Ethiopia hanging on. Desperately close. There's another Ethiopian down on the deck and the referee is calling for the stretcher. The first time the stretcher's actually been used. Referee deciding he's not going to waste his time allowing an further Ethiopian player to be treated on the pitch, and he's hooked him off straight away. Meanwhile, we're going to have a couple more substitutions. Nigitu Gebrselassie, the veteran Ethiopian insurance midfielder, is going to come on, and he will be accompanied by Mohamed Abrera, another Ethiopian insurance man, but a man with a more progressive nature. He's a forward. Off comes Gugsa. Ten minutes to go. Burkina Faso 1-0 in front. Madagascar fans will be praying here that Ethiopia can score. Looking for that insurance policy again. And it's well defended. He'll go out for a throw-in to Burkina Faso. Ball inside. Looking for Kabore. Here is Kabore. Tiandra Bogo with the shot. It hits it straight at a defender. Confirmation of Wagner Gezahane going off. Mohamed Abrera coming off. That's skewed across. Kept in this time. Burkina Faso trying to come forward a little bit too much in front of the player desired, though. Out by Ethiopia once more. Forward by Tapsoba. Space opening up again. It's going to come across to Kabore! That's the victory, surely. And the 4th of August Stadium erupts for a second time. Second goal in the game for the substitute Kabore. And they make their place in the top 4 runners-up just a little bit more secure. Blati Toure about to make his entrance, one of those who was replaced in the starting lineup for this game, will come into midfield. Mohamed Zagrana, the match winner in the last game, will concede his place to him. Wow, they are playing with fire here! Oh my word! What are they doing at the back? And Ethiopia have grabbed one back, and it's an absolute gift. What were the goalkeeper and the defenders doing, playing the ball around inside their own penalty area? And what looked like victory done and dusted, now suddenly doesn't look so sure. Astonishing. Well, that has quietened the crowd dramatically. And the problem with that as well is it's reduced the goal difference again. Those are the kind of moments that can be the difference between qualifying and not qualifying. Burkina Faso straight back into it. Ouedraogo can't get the ball in. And Blatti Toure with his first touch, almost his first touch, but it went underneath his foot into the arms of Ferru Gittoun. 5 minutes to go, and all of a sudden it's going to be a nerve-jangling finish to this game. An incredible turn of events. Burkina Faso now, there's only 2 in the box. Still trying to get it in. Ouedraogo on the turn, too many green defenders in front of him. Back it comes again, driven over the top. Four minutes to go. Has that goal by Biniam Aitan done enough to break hearts for Burkina Faso? It won't make any difference tonight by the looks of it. Madagascar have pulled one back, but they're still 3-1 down against Mali. Space on the left-hand side. Decent little ball into the middle there from Mamadi Ouedraogo, but nobody on the other end of it to pick it up. Suddenly that second goal, or what we say about goal difference, was the insurance goal. Here they come again. Ouedraogo. There's no way through. All Burkina Faso. 3 in the middle. Straight into the arms, though, of Ferru Gittoun. Gebre Selassie with the ball forward. Coming up to the last 2 minutes. The crowd still 100% behind their team, the band still playing. But what kind of a crescendo are we going to see here? Burkina Faso not exactly hanging on, but still only 1 goal ahead. Things will change dramatically if Ethiopia score again, and that's a decent ball into the box. Offside, though. Ahmed Hussein just going a little bit too early. Neat play again. He's having a good game on this near side, is Mehmedi Ouedraogo, and another good ball into the box. They're queuing up, and it's off the post. Well, two or three players seem to get in each other's way there in the end, but it still nearly found its way into the back of the net. Ethiopia get it away, and now they're on the attack. And suddenly, Burkina Faso defenders are scurrying back, trying to cover. Ethiopia looking for the equaliser, and it finally gets deflected behind for a corner. He's having an effect already, is Ahmed Hussein, since coming on. And the crowd, listen to the silence now inside the stadium. Finally, the band strokes up again. But this is a nervous moment here. We're inside 5 minutes added on at the end of the game. Burkina Faso would probably take the one-goal victory now, rather than risk what's coming. It launches in, and it's well met in the middle by a Burkina Faso head, Dayu. Pinion doesn't quite get hold of the cross. Now it's Burkina Faso's turn just to kick it anywhere. The nerves of the players being transmitted now to the crowd. Here's the captain, Haider Sharifa. Three minutes to go, of the minimum 5 that have been added on by our referee, Albert Diouf. Burkina Faso looking for another goal. Not been quite the all guns blazing approach to the game that we were promised by the Burkina Faso coach. However, he would certainly settle for the victory with Brahma Traore as a bare minimum. Nicely done. Pelati with the ball forward, but offside. Flag has gone up on that far side. Burkina Faso, though, will be very happy to keep the ball at that end of the pitch, though. Last thing they want is to concede a last-second goal to the Walier Ibex. Well, Minungu is offside as well. He was looking right the way across the line as well. Couldn't stop himself, just nibbling a couple of extra inches. His desire to get forward. And I think that's That's a free kick rather than an offside this time. For a foul. There was a bit of a niggle going on. Not quite sure where that came from. Final minute. Burkina Faso just a few seconds away from moving into the 4 places for the semi-finals of the playoffs here in African zone qualifying for the World Cup. Madagascar still losing in Group I. They were above them in that virtual table of second place finishers in the groups. Mali now 4-1 up ahead of them. It has been a last night to not remember. Oh, that's a good ball through. Now can it be a night to remember for Burkina Faso? Surely it's going to be 3, and it is! Victory finally finished off. And it's going to be a hat-trick for the substitute, Kabore. What a night for the substitute. He only came on in the 62nd minute, and he has had the impact of all impacts. Burkina Faso will go into the top 4 of the best runners-up. There's an awful lot of action still to come, but they've done all that they can do. As the final whistle goes, Pierre Kabore, the 24-year-old forward, came on and has single-handedly led Burkina Faso to victory by 3-1. They now wait for all of the other groups to conclude to find out whether they will still be in the semi-finals of the African playoffs come the end of this final round of qualifying. They got there the hard way, but they've done it in the end. Final score, Burkina Faso 3, Ethiopia 1.